Premier League, Group Stage, Round of 32.
Boomer, the Green Terran, Boomerang.
Yay.
Indeed, and his opponent, who we just saw pull off some very strong early pressures. Don't know what he's going to do this build, but I'm interested to see if it's more of the same or if he's more diverse than perhaps we gave him credit for. In the top right, in teal, it's our Terran player dNa.
Yay.
Woo-hoo.
Woo.
And he has the very close mineral patches being mined from the SCVs.
You can do a spot a top player by whether they are really angry about when their mineral patches aren't being mined efficient.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty good for a plat player to do that.
Yeah, he's got like perfect mineral stacking on some of those, so which I never bothered to do.
I do it sometimes.
I'll put them on the right patch, but I don't do the perfectly timed stacking.
So compulsive about it. Has to be done right.
So we have a refinery first for Boomerang.
Yeah, refinery before barracks, so it does indicate factory potentially.
Yeah.
So it could very well be just another mech play. And he's putting his barracks close to his command center, so he's not choosing to wall off despite the initial supply depot position.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really have to wall.
Yeah, you don't.
Still might, actually. No.
It just denies scouting a little, but yeah, it's not as essential, certainly, versus Terran to do. Get the slightly later gas from dNa.
Yeah, that's quite interesting to me. And I think it's likely he's going to go for that command center, especially with that SUV hanging around. Maybe not. What are we doing? He's going back up. Okay. There. I don't know.
And he's going to see that factory. He definitely scouted that.
They say in TVT that tech is the real big advantage, but if you can get the economic advantage and hold it, then you will be carried very nicely into the mid game.
Yep.
Very true, very true. And there is that factory coming down. And just Marines coming out of dNa right now. He's not adding an add-on or anything yet, and I think the command center will go right in place as soon as he's got the 400. Which is now. There you go.
It's another CC. There we go.
Second gas even for Boomerang. He's, so he was supply back there for a second, but he's clear now. Yeah.
You think he's going to go... Oh, man, there's the tech lab.
Do you think Cloak Banshee?
Or Starport. There we go.
Starport's coming.
He's got the second gas.
I think it's going to be the Banshee.
Yeah, it would make sense. He might get... Let's see if he starts anything at the factory. He has time to sneak a unit out.
Yeah, he's going to move that. Yeah. It's going to be fucking Banshee. Excuse my language.
Yeah, and what we see a lot of the time is we see a push that kind of goes, actually, you know what, it could be Raven. You could open Raven Viking, because you see that as well. And they basically push across the map with these first kind of aggressive units that they make and just shove across and try and punish a greedier player. It can also be Banshee, and I think it's probably more likely to be with the second gas being taken.
Yeah, so Banshee is coming out, and the cloak is started, so that will be it. He's not
do you think the factory was just kind of a fake out for right now?
I guess he needed to go through it, but it's a little unusual that he didn't make anything from it. Even just a Widow Mine or something.
Yeah,
there's a Widow Mine, but it could have produced a couple by now.
I mean, couldn't he use that can't you build okay, this is why I'm really bad at casting Terran. Can't you build a tech lab on the barracks and move it over?
They do. At the top level, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
You have to build a factory to build the starport.
Yeah, I know that,
yes,
but you can build the tech lab on the... Okay.
Yeah, you can build it on the barracks. Yeah.
Okay.
They get the... What is it? They build the barracks, they make a couple of Marines, they get a reactor, I think.
They put the factory on the reactor and remake... Yeah,
and there's a tech lab on the factory, so I'm thinking maybe tanks or...
I tell you what, I really like this Widow Mine positioning from Boomerang. He knows he's going Cloak Banshee, so in his head he thinks, but what if my opponent is going Cloak Banshee? Yeah. I do not have an eBay right now, so he's got this Widow Mine in the position where it will blow up a Banshee, if it comes in.
Yeah, Banshee comes in now. If he can pick the tank, that's a good pickup.
That's so
Cloak
nice.
just finished. And it was a Raven behind this for Boomerang, so got the
He's not-
Banshee. He's going to deny this turret from going up. It will finish.
Ah, a little bit of the miscontrol there. Could have sniped away that SCV and delayed it at least for a second. But now with the Banshee in detection range, going to be chased away by the Viking and the Marines. What's the Raven doing floating across there?
It's... I don't know. It turned around as soon as you mentioned it. And he will be going back. 4 kills on the Banshee, one of them being a tank, which is a pretty good pickup.
Oh, that's a huge
Yeah.
call, actually.
It's so valuable, especially as you transition into the mid to late game. Having that tank count in the Marine tank situation in TVT is so critical. So getting any advantage you can get is very, very important.
So the CC is about to finish up for Boomerang. Getting ready to set that on the low ground. While dNa is already almost fully saturated. Damn well near.
He's getting there. He's had that extra command center for so much longer that he's profited very heavily from the mules. And that's really the edge he's getting, I think. Third one. That
Wow.
seems
So
fast. Greedy man.
Well, can do that as a Terran. He has the tanks for it, though.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very
so
deceptive
does
here.
Boomerang.
He scans the natural, sees nothing there, and literally by an inch misses the other orbital. So, may not know that there's one going down.
No. And if he did, I think we could well see him just throw down some extra production. There is another barracks on its way. We'll just see him drop that down and go, I'm going for it. I'm going to go straight at you. Big attack. Try and drop and do as much damage to his greedy opponent as he can. But right now, he doesn't know. He can't do anything. He's going to sit there.
So I really like Boomerang, his play right now. He's got a patrolling
Guys,
Viking
the stream's
there.
crashed apparently.
And then he
Alright.
has full map vision with the Marines at the not.
Map. He knows whatever his opponent's doing. dNa,
Hey guys, we're
apart from
offline.
that third
Yeah,
command
we
center,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
Counting down. Go, go, go.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So we're back.
All
Alright, guys. Sorry
Good-
about that.
Good stuff.
You guys
Happens.
didn't miss anything. Don't worry. We're just talking about how bad I was at this game.
I think that actually may have gone out.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
it did.
sure.
All right. It's fine.
Doesn't matter.
Banshee
sure
will
that they
swing
will
in again. May
correct
get there
you.
slightly before this turret goes up. Banshee's just been picking up a couple extra kills as he can go.
Oh man, Boomerang
he's
has.
not-
Oh, that-
He's not cloak though. There he goes. And up to 7
There's
kills.
a
About
scan that
FTV.
can go down.
Yeah.
Seen it?
But look at the third and fourth base for dNa. Boomerang is just Marines there just to deny the land of that CC.
I really like that he's just chasing down this Banshee with the Vikings.
Yeah, completely crossed them out.
It's the scan. Is he going to scan? He's actually just dropping right now. He's got
Yeah,
a
big
big
job's going on in the main. Tank's
Yep.
coming in to try and clean it up.
Doing-
Yep, there it goes.
That siege tank in the back, I think, possibly doing more harm than good. It cleaned up
Yeah,
the drop,
it
cleaned
was-
up a bunch of SCVs as well.
He even damaged his own orbital for a little bit. There's
Just,
just scan. Banshee dies.
There we go. So he must feel a little bit better about that. That is going to deny Boomerang's ability to put on pressure via that form. But the window's kind of passed now at this point.
Mhm.
The Banshee was useful, but not
And he's
really
caused
putting its
such a reaction. He got 7 kills with it, one of them being a tank. But he is forced out now, let's see, 6, 7, 7 turrets
Well,
out of it.
you say
Yeah.
that, but whilst he has forced out those turrets, we
Yeah.
actually see that dNa's going mech. And
Yeah.
when you go mech, you have minerals. So it's not so bad
That's
if
true.
it's going
That's
fire.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's money you can't spend on that stuff, but turrets are cool too. I support
Yeah,
the
they will
turrets.
definitely help in these drop situations. There is another medevac coming towards the base, and he's going to run into 2 or 3 turrets on the way. If he
The
opts out to
upgrades
go.
are definitely. Boomerang is definitely taking control of this game. His upgrades, he has 1-1 and combat shields and
He's,
Raven.
he's shoving ahead in that front, following it up with the Stim because he is playing a much more biocentric front. He's got a factory, sure, and he's made a couple of tanks, but he's generally aiming in the Marine Marauder, very conventional Terran style. But dNa, with his mech upgrades, they give each mech unit so much more than a bio bio weapon upgrade does.
There's
that
this medivac. I don't know if it's going to get anywhere because all the turrets are around.
Yeah, he can't really find an attack angle. He could drop on this tank.
Drop on the, yeah.
Or could drop on this position and stop it. That was his tank. He could drop on this position and try and deny it. Yeah. But, yeah, army comes over.
Lost that.
Yeah. And whilst this drop has...
Oh my gosh, so many.
The drop's scouted really nicely, but it has been cleaned up pretty effectively. And Boomerang, I think, is going to lose this tank very quickly as well.
It's just... Oh man, there's so many tanks. Boomerang is losing everything. Oh my gosh.
Hold on. With this sandwich... Get away with this, can he? No. That wasn't as good. I think he had a lot of potential. If both his forces had turned up and he got that great little flank off, run in, picked off all those tanks with the speed and mobility of the bio, but because they turned up at different times, it just didn't work out, and he lost a lot more than I think he needed to. Even so, Boomerang's got 2 bases coming up.
So, I mean, he's killed 17 workers, but he's definitely losing more units than dNa now.
It's true. He's lost nearly twice as much money as his opponent.
And he's repairing.
In a mirror, that really matters.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and these small forces of bio aren't going to do much by themselves. Just they try and walk in, it'll basically get one-shotted down. So he's got to figure out a way to eventually attack into this sort of structure. But again, his economy is going pretty well back at home.
I would say dNa's getting up a fairly strong mech composition. He's got decent upgrades proceeding. We see +2 weapons and armor, and the Infernal Pre-Igniter, the Blue Flame on its way. Lots and lots of tanks for dNa, which will allow him to control space and deal with the drops if he positions them correctly and doesn't blow up all of his own SCVs. And especially the Vikings. I love the Viking production, which will allow him to both snipe out medevacs, incredibly useful in denying bio, and also to give his tanks that air advantage over his opponent and the vision. I would like perhaps to see a second starport and definitely some sensor towers.
We'll move in here again, snipe off this one turret, but that maybe is clever positioning in the back here to go after the SCVs. Tanks are not quite in position. We'll have to leapfrog forward. And get a parting shot off.
He's not losing that much.
Oh, this drop coming in, getting absolutely decimated. There's, the medevac was taken out, but there's a lot of bios still here on the ground. A lot of SCVs going down here again.
That Marine
gets cleaned up, but this is a lot of damage.
Good lord. Down to Boomerang is on 73.
40 workers killed. 40 workers killed.
That is it's pretty sweet. You can't argue with 40 workers killed, especially not when you have a command center lead over your opponent.
Right.
No, right now it's 73 workers to 31.
Yeah, it's hard to deny the power of that. And the idea to just go in over that, he had to fly over like 3 turrets to get to that position, but he did kind of the what do you call it, like the paratrooper drop as he went, and made sure that he got all the units out before the medevacs died. dNa trying to move out strongly across the map.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mech, and mech in a straight fight, mech is basically always stronger than bio. But bio doesn't have to fight straight. Bio can just run around. As we see, there's a little attack that was running into the third base, although it was cleaned up by the tanks. There are forces out and around on the map everywhere for dNa, and not for Boomerang. And as long as he doesn't make a bit of a silly, I thought he was just about to there, he can beat this army.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Vikings here. There's a lot of this army that's still in medevac.
He's actually really out of position at the moment.
Does he not have Hellbat? What's going on?
He has. I mean, he does have Hellbat. He's got armories. That's all he can do. Dropping on those tanks now out of those medevacs, but the Vikings are cleaning up before all the drops can go through, and it's just not carrying.
It's just, and there's one Thor that's going to come over here and try to be a hero, but I think it's going to be, yeah, the thing got picked off almost immediately. I've never seen a Thor die so fast.
Yeah. These Vikings are now going to kill this command center. That is
That's a big loss for Boomerang.
Yeah, that's huge loss.
One thing that Boomerang definitely does still have going for him is dNa doesn't know about this third base.
No, that's what I was just, yeah, he does not know about the 4th command center for Boomerang, though.
Yeah, that's the number I was thinking of. Counting.
Yeah.
I promise I can count, really.
You sure?
I
1 plus 1 is 11.
I've been lying the whole time.
I knew you were
The upgrades have been purely luck. Yeah, so Boomerang, actually dNa's going home. I think he should have gone for the kill there.
He's at least
around.
rejoining this force, and maybe wants to come in at a different angle. There's a drop on its way out, which is going to swing towards the third base. There's still a large number of tanks and a Viking there as well. Yeah, dNa could aggressively push in, and I think he
I don't know if this is going to do anything.
No. I think that Boomerang's got left at home.
He's going to try to drop.
No, he's going to try and drop directly on the tanks here. Cause a lot of splash damage, but it will die.
He actually picked off all his tanks. And the Italians, other tanks
they did go down.
But what is dNa doing? He can move in, and there he goes.
Yeah.
Oh, tank.
However, even with the spectacular drop towards the third of dNa and losing all of those tanks there, the reinforcements from the main cleaned it up, and now the army is sat outside. Even if some of those tanks at the front are looking pretty scratched up, pretty battered and bruised, there's not. Boomerang can't push into this. He just can't attack it with the units he's got. Every time he tries, it just evaporates.
He's gonna try to repair that, but
yeah, he will. But it's just using minerals up.
All his SCVs. I cannot believe Boomerang had such a huge lead.
But this was the problem, I think. Boomerang was trading all the way through the game, and eventually he started getting some nice drops and some nice pickups with his kills. But he lost so many resources in attacking and in doing that damage that he wasn't. And he didn't kill that much army either, it's worth noting. So the whole time, the army of dNa was
getting stronger. He lost army. He got SCVs and stuff, but how hard is it for a turn to come back with orbitals and stuff, you know?
Clearly, Boomerang, too hard. He's in real trouble.
Oh, he's in a lot of trouble right now. Now he has 2 mining bases, and he's denying the 4th. But I think he's lost so many. We're offline again.
No, we came back.
I think we're back. Yeah,
we came back just a second later.
He's now finally down in the worker count for basically the first time in the game. This kind of Hail Mary drop is going out with 4 medevacs, but he is still leaving a reasonable amount of units at home. There's tanks in his main. There's tanks at the third base. They're not siege up at the moment. This force finally finds the other base.
It is looking pretty grim. I'm not quite sure why dNa isn't pushing up that ramp, but I think this might be a reflection on that multitasking thing we saw earlier. At the moment, he's focused on blowing up that base. Or wherever he's focused, he's actually not selecting those units. He's doing something, and that means he's not attacking the main, which is close to undefended.
Yeah, pretty much it is.
Wow.
He'll drop on these tanks, probably be able to clean them up.
Yeah, just about. I mean, they unsieged in time, but even so, 4 medevacs of bio is pretty good. Well, 2.5 medevacs of bio, and a spare medevac for being killed by Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what happens when now he's gonna pick up and, oh man, I don't know. dNa has the full map control. He's sitting and there's this scan. He's sitting at his natural right now, just chilling.
Oh, Boomerang has no mining right now.
He's sieged.
Yeah, there's no mining occurring.
Yeah, not at all.
So, yeah, Boomerang is kind of dead in the water right now. He could drop a few mules.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was just looking around. He's on 7 SCVs. Boomerang's clinging on for something. I'm just wondering when we're going to see what it is. He's building a Raven right now. I can't think what he hopes to accomplish with the Raven. It just
If he
doesn't
can-
seem like it can carry him forward into this game.
If you
Biggest
can convince
initial
DNA's
scale.
army to all occupy the same space, and then
If they all load up into
No,
medevacs
I
and then the medevacs all stack, then he'll have enough Hunter Seeker splash damage to not kill one of them.
exactly.
Which is
That'd be
nearly,
great.
nearly
great.
what you need. It's just nothing. He can't attack at this point. He's running around with these little bioforces, desperately trying to achieve something. And I think if he brings all of his forces together and just goes for this massive kind of drop-heavy assault, he could possibly do something. But it's not happening unless he
Here's
does
the
that.
rest of DNA's units coming down. I think
Gonna
he's
come
just
across.
like, get the hell out of this game.
Yeah. There we go. There's the siege.
There's the
Picking off a
siege.
Viking. Nice. The biomobility is the only way he could get back. If he took just the most godlike of engagements, maybe. But I don't think so.
You just won't take it.
I'd be so surprised because DNA's macro still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
Well,
he's
his
got an
bank is
economy.
huge.
He's got an
I mean,
income. Boomerang's got 120 minerals a minute. It's just gone to nothing.
Kinda, yeah. Where's he even getting that from? That was just mules
don't know.
in the other base, yeah.
It must be. It must be.
Boomerang's trying to rebuild SCVs right now.
Right now, this bio is caught
where-
between
Jeez.
not where it wants to be.
Wow, he can't move out. Like,
You can't move in.
he
Yeah, there's
can't go
nothing-
anywhere.
He can't even really unite these
He's here
armies.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, here it comes. Oh no, it doesn't. DNA's changed his mind. I really thought he was going to try and push that, but he can't do anything.
Wow, okay, that's it's
Anywhere
over.
near.
There's
That's
nothing he can do. There's the GG.
Around. In green, down 0 for 1 in this series from the Boomerang clan. It's Boomerang.
Boomerang.
And over on the right-hand side, in a baby blue, is dNa of no known clan. I'm sure he has one on the EU, probably.
See, it's going to be mad. We're supposed to wait. supposed to wait 15 seconds.
I don't want to wait. Why?
Don't wanna.
It's weird. It's
No, I'm
weird.
doing
Why would you wait
intros.
15 seconds before?
For the stupid
Yeah.
big letters to come on this.
Cool. He
Stream.
knows their name is in the game already, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right. It'll be
He got
fine.
it. He figured it out.
Yeah. He's really very good to us, puts up with a lot of our stupidity.
What's
So
wrong with him? What are you talking about? You haven't been.
I'm being diplomatic. I'm being diplomatic.
Yeah.
You won't be that diplomatic for that long.
He'll knock us offline again.
Saber is a great person. Shout out to Saber. He does an amazing job doing productions and putting together everything and putting up with our bullshit.
That's
So,
true, especially that last one. I think we own
Of
for very
course.
personally.
Especially
Mills-
potty mouth Bexy.
Yeah, that happens. So dirty. That's why he has to
Sometimes,
take
not
the stream
every night.
offline.
Not
If he
every
expects you're gonna swear, he just flips the
No, I know, right? No, I don't swear. Some nights I'm just like, I'm bored. Let me just go to my army roots and start cussing up a storm.
stream.
So,
Viewers like it.
looking at the
DNA.
game, just for a moment,
Oh, yeah.
we got Boomerang basically repeating his build of the previous game, going for gas before barracks. Wait, was that him? Or was that? yeah, that was it. I thought that was
him
him.
that did that.
Yeah, I
And,
thought so. And across the other side of the map, we're seeing basically the same thing. Later gas. So these two players clearly have their set kind of TVT build. They know what they're going to do. And I'd be interested to see if they do go bio and mech once again and how that plays out on the very different map that is merry-go-round.
Yeah, it was odd what DNA did, because he did do basically
Oh,
this
that
opening.
has a hole in it.
It does have a
Oh,
hole
man.
in it. So you will get in and see the gas timing. But he also did the same gas timing and then went mech anyway.
Very true.
So that's kind of...
He goes for the greedy command center with the delayed gas, but then goes into the heavy gassing.
Yeah.
Works itself out. Actually,
So-
that's a really interesting point. The man whose name I'll pronounce correctly this time, to Epic One, he thinks it's going to be a rematch in the losers final.
Could very well. That's putting very little faith in Tempo, but it's true. Could be.
Oh, good. No,
What?
if Tempo wins, he goes through the losers
If Tempo
final.
wins,
Yeah,
If
I don't
Tempo
know.
wins, he advances.
to the losers final.
Mhm. to the consolation. Is this the losers? Or is this
No. This is
This
the
is
winners.
the
the
winners,
winner's
right?
match.
I know
This
it's
is the winners
TBT,
match.
but it hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
This is the winner's match.
This
These
is
are
the
two
winners
winners.
match, so the loser
And
won't go
then-
down.
And the
to
losers
play
will go down.
someone.
God, I've derailed everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, the factory now following straight up from that barracks out of dNa. Extra gas coming down to fuel it, and it is looking like it could be mech once again. I wouldn't be too surprised. And added Boomerang, starport, but no tech lab.
yeah, and no second gas this time either.
There's a tech lab, my friend.
Well, what? The Boomerang?
At dNa.
Other guy. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no.
yeah, that
He's,
guy.
he's getting a tech lab.
Yeah, and he's getting starport right behind it as well. Maybe
Oh,
he's
maybe he's going to go
maybe
back.
he's going to Banshee. He saw how good they were last time. He wants one.
I like his thinking. It's a good
Yeah.
way to go into mech as well, with that Banshee pressure to kind of buy yourself a little bit of time.
Tank is coming out right away. And starport will actually finish, so.
It's kind of looking about. This is I mean, this. Normally you'd have slightly more stuff with this push that the Boomerang's going for.
There's a scan
Yeah.
to see what's going on.
Yeah, he sees the main,
Right.
doesn't really know what's in the natural yet. Whether there's
He doesn't see
expansion
any
or not.
tech labs or reactors or anything. But these Marines would
That's a pretty money scan right there. Catching all the tech and what's already out on the map. He'll leave
Yeah,
it to
that's
the
a great
bunkers
scan.
start to go. Vikings coming out first, which may help with this drop. If there even is a drop, because she's not bringing the medevac. 3 Hellions across the map.
Wait, did he see the medivac?
I think he caught the end of it with the scan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because he's getting 2 Vikings out here. So I think he is anticipating something. The medevac is approaching. He's going to try and elevator up the Hellions as well.
It's a good idea. There's a tank at the front. At this point, he runs in, snipes that Viking straight away. So already he's got something out of this. But that
Oh,
tank.
jeez.
Yeah, elevating those up. The siege tank is already in position now.
Yeah, gonna try and fly down to the natural, but not
Oh,
enough.
just lost those. Wow.
Boost,
You
boost.
saved the Hellions, though.
He hasn't got the boost. That's okay. He's fast
There it
enough.
is.
He'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that unfortunately doesn't get
Couple
much
more
time.
barracks going down for Boomerang.
I have to say that was a nicer defense than in the previous game that we saw out of dNa. I think he's learning very quickly how to deal with the opponents he's up against and reading their strengths and weaknesses very sharply
Yes, definitely.
as he gets hugely supply blocked. It's all part of the plan. All part of the plan.
It
guys.
happens. It happens.
Yeah. Boomerang's late again with that later command center because he goes for that fast attack. But when his pressure doesn't do that much damage, he finds himself. I wouldn't go so far as to say behind exactly, but he's perhaps not as ahead as he could be. If he turned up and did great damage, then he'd be in a really good spot. But he keeps getting supply block when he's making these units for this early push as well. He did that in both games, and it's handicapped him both times.
He has lots of energy. dNa.
Yeah, he's
of
not
does, actually,
dropping.
yeah.
He's not dropping everything out. I don't know whether he thinks he needs tons of scans,
scan.
but yeah, he's not using the mules to their full extent quite yet.
There's a scan.
Going for a third CC that gets caught right away.
Yeah, absolutely. So unlike the last game where we saw that information denied, this time Boomerang is fully informed. I wonder if it will influence his decisions. I don't think he's got the units to have it influence his decisions.
Yeah, he's kind of lagging. I can't see him moving out or doing any damage with what he does have.
So we're gonna see mech again for dNa.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, more factories getting added on. It worked for him last time. He'll give it
Yeah.
a shot here as well.
It looks like we're still gonna see biotank for Boomerang this game.
It might be a
It's
little harder for him
very
to
similar.
cover all 3 bases on this map. The third, no matter where you take it, is a bit more exposed. But
And here's a whole bunch of missile turrets, like we saw last game.
yep, wants to shut down drops completely. Does have the minerals, as you mentioned last game. to
It's
do
almost
this.
it is in many ways just a repeat of the previous game, but the differences are going to arise once we start looking at those third bases because on Overgrowth you can do that. You can take a decent third and defend it pretty handily. On Merry-Go-Round you're going to struggle a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, there's
just
a lot more ways to get at it. There comes
Wow.
just totally cleaned up
that
drop.
was one-sided.
Yep. A little bit.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah, so dNa will not be dropping down into the low 30s of SCVs at about this time this game. He's got his income alive and kicking. The third command center is an orbital. He's muling away, and we're just waiting for the moment when he decides to take his third.
Yeah.
If
There's
he
another
can take
drop
his third.
coming in the top part of the map.
Yeah, and I don't know where that's going to get in either. There's 2 Vikings, or 3 Vikings there. There's turrets up just ringed around it. And yeah, I don't know where that would go in.
Boomerang's taking his third.
Yep.
Just going for it. I mean, it's behind that of his opponent, but dNa's floating his out now. Of course, his is already finished, so he's already begun to profit from that in the form of the mules and the scans. Perhaps these players have been quite scan happy. I've noticed they have very much kind of just chucked him out when they feel the need, and that's kind of good in its own way. But it does mean that you aren't getting perhaps the maximum income. And in that late game last time, if Boomerang hadn't scanned so much, maybe you'd had a few more Marines.
He didn't. I don't know if he saw. Okay, he's gonna see the.
Yeah, he's where it's there. Now. Hellion fight in the middle of the map. Equal shots. Boomerang's just gonna die.
dNa's Flynn will go off
Oh,
first.
there we go. See, if those upgrades had finished, it would have been
Another
obvious, but
Hellion
no.
fight. dNa wins
and
again.
dNa wins again. dNa's Hellion's just playing better.
They are just too strong. dNa... Yeah, I'm just looking back at the energy now since it's been pointed out, and he really isn't spending it that much. He's just spent some. Where'd it come from? Okay, well, whatever. What do I know? Yeah, but he's just sat at home, turning up with his tanks, with his Vikings. It's so difficult to push into this, but he's also not being aggressive in his own way as well.
We might see another Hellion fight. Sorry.
Really? Where? No. I'm psyched. I've got to see this. Oh, it's coming. Oh no
They're just
way.
having a stare off down right now.
I can see.
And but here's at the third base of dNa, we will see a little bio push from Boomerang going off.
Actual attack.
And this tank is just
Wow.
Okay, this is pretty much like a repeat. Oh, he only got 1 worker, and he's lost 29 units so far. So this isn't really going that well. Wow, we have 2 extra bases going down for Boomerang.
Yeah.
He's got 5 total bases. I'm not sure how it's gonna go.
It kind of
dNa
makes
is winning
sense.
Guys,
so
I
much
hate to
money.
interrupt you there, but there's a Hellion fight
It's a
going on.
Hellion fight, yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
dNa's going to win
He's
again,
gonna
man.
win.
Well, this time because he has 1-1
He's 2. He
on the
cheated.
Hellions.
He
No,
actually
he-
brought in another Hellion, fired off 1 shot, and ran it back away again. So that is cheating,
It's
and
no fair. No fair.
I'm extremely disappointed in him. He would have won anyway. That's the thing. That's why it
Yeah.
frustrates me so much. But I quite like the decision by Boomerang to go for those command centers. If he can get up a really strong economy, and perhaps even if he turns them into, rather than planetary fortresses, but orbitals, then he can mule to his heart's content. He can have a vastly superior army count instead of workers, and he can win on just pure attrition. He can go Zerg in this TVT.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for him to move
Yeah,
in these
I
rare
mean,
dispositions.
you saw a couple of seconds ago he was really far behind on minerals, and now he's just boom. He's booming. He just he
Yeah,
needs
his
gas
income's
now,
going
I
to be really
think.
good. He's going to make him cover many different positions. He's going to take advantage, obviously, of the lack of mobility on dNa's side. And, just let him sit there for the time being.
It's a nice little cleanup over and up there with the scans. But this is kind of what I was talking about with those crazy amount of scans going down. I guess when you're floating 3,000 minerals, you can afford to scan a bit because you're gas limited when you go mech. He's not able to really spend those minerals anyway, and he should be chucking down a bunch of command centers and trying to use the mule tactic that I just mentioned Boomerang could employ. dNa could be spending those minerals on command. Oh, he actually is doing. He is doing. He's doing the thing. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, dNa is now going full saber and just throwing down,
Yeah,
throwing down
pretty
command
much.
centers everywhere.
Yeah, he didn't go command center
Oh, he's
first.
gonna spot
This
this
is random.
drop. But can I ask ask a question or something that I've noticed I've never noticed before? This thing right here.
Love it. That's where that's the little oracle station, isn't it? That's where you put your proxy oracles.
Is that where you put it?
That's where I put it.
Okay.
Good spot.
I actually veto this map, but it's where I would put it if I had the choice.
Drop's going to try and come in again. Vikings see it. 1 full medevac, 2 full medevacs. Gone.
Oh!
Just delete
Everything
it.
he tries to do is just shut down so effectively by dNa.
Wow.
At this point, though, I think he should know.
Teamwork Hansen is going down to DNA.
Hellions coming in, but there is a planetary fortress on this high ground base.
He's researching. So Boomerang's researching Corvid reactor, which I had to look at to see what it was, because I don't think I've seen that in a really long time.
Energy. Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. Boomerang might be planning on just going for very, very hot, heavy Sky Terran style and putting on that pressure, doing attacking from all fronts and defending himself with PDDs and Seeker missiles. I don't know if this will work, but I kind of hope it does because it's really cool.
There's these little groups of Marines and small forces going around. Big fight here happening in the middle of the map. Tanks just overwhelming this bio position.
Yeah, it's so hard to attack a mech player directly, and considering the defenses that dNa has established in every other area, the pressure really isn't working. That's why I felt that the decision to go for this kind of really super macro thing out of Boomerang would have been the right call. Because if he tries to fight into tanks, he's going to lose. He can't fight this directly. It's not happening under any circumstances. His army isn't made of pure marauders, and even then, I don't think it will work.
Yeah, these
There we
tanks
go.
just obliterating everything.
It's just suicidal. You can't attack that. I think there's some Hellbats or Hellions just stuck in those tanks. Yeah, there we go. They're free now. But dNa he doesn't have to do anything. He just sits there and goes, we're fine. And every time he's attacked, he sieges up, smashes through, and Boomerang is really struggling. I don't think he knows how to deal with mech properly.
No, I think he's just frustrated. He keeps looking for a hole, and there just aren't any.
Yeah.
dNa coming in now.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
he's
Not
custom
not
bases
even
and so much
sieging,
ego, but
No.
he doesn't have to siege.
Yeah, that was actually, I think, a bit of an error in not sieging up, losing a whole bunch of tanks.
Yeah, he is here. I don't think he knew about the tanks on the top.
No.
But he will live for the time being, but they will get cleaned up here.
Oh, sieger's too late.
Lovely hug there. Sniping at that Raven, actually. So whatever that was planned. Now, there's another one in production now. And I really like the sense towers from both players, because obviously mech takes a long time to get anywhere, so you can tell if you're being dropped with a sense tower. And mech takes a long time to get anywhere, so you can move to the right place with your bio if you see him on your sense tower. It's all very smart decisions. Good stuff. I like this too, the high gravity jump.
Oh, the scanner's just a little off. There it goes.
Boom, boom. Yeah, there's
bit of a sting.
no tanks on the field at all now by Boomerang, and that's going to be obviously a big deal.
He needs more production. He just isn't spending his money properly. Even if he was just going Marines, he's got the option to just chuck Marines and stuff.
Kill that 6 base.
Hunter Seeker on one tank. They'll split it off, though.
Yeah.
Will live. Not sieged up. He'll try and hug into position.
Oh. Splashing in the other tanks a little bit. Oh no.
That's going to
Seeker
kill too,
Mercedes
I
back in
think.
that station tag. Oh.
Not bad. But the Vikings cleaned up 2 Ravens for it. And that in itself is worth it. Those Marines, they are not going to kill that now PF in time. This is a bad day to be a Marine in the south of merry-go-round.
Yeah, that guy's dead. There's even an SCV repairing it at the same time. It was a fruitless mission.
This is a really weird game, and I still think that even though it's been quite back and forth in the last couple of minutes, dNa has
this Thor.
the right position.
Yeah,
Wow.
nice physics on the Thor.
I missed it. I'm gutted.
Yeah, it was
I
awesome.
don't know if he's gonna. I don't. Oh, is he gonna?
Yeah, he's good.
repair the
There,
SCV?
he's got this. He's got
Oh no.
this.
Okay.
Ah, there we go. Lovely.
A little
yeah,
Viking fight here, and tanks and Vikings. Wow.
It's so strong. It controls the air and the ground to such a crazy effect. And I'm trying to work out how I would deal with this, but I really can't think of a good answer except you do your own kind of thing, and then you get Ravens for PDDs to deal with the Vikings. It's happening. It's all happening. PDD goes down. Vikings of Boomerang chasing away the Vikings of dNa. He does have the superior count, I think, and definitely with the PDD sniping away the shots.
Yeah, he is pushing the Vikings back. Only 2 of them left. Still quite clear at the tanks there, though. And he'll just move on in. He even lands 2 of the Vikings.
He just inches forwards every time. dNa's just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing.
They just got He's landing right on top of them. They're just getting destroyed. Jeez.
I mean, I'm not a Terran player, but that made me cry a little bit, just inside in my heart places. The really scary thing, though, is how this is the last army for Boomerang. This is all he really has on the field. But if we look back at dNa's base, there's a pretty substantial mech force just hanging out.
Yeah, it's just sitting there. The reinforcements are huge.
So many SCVs being transferred.
I would love to see him now. He's got how many orbitals? He's got so many orbitals with so much energy. I want to see him start scanning his opponent's bases and mining the minerals so his opponent can't use it.
Yeah.
That's really cheeky, but it's very good.
It can work. It can work.
It's at this point, it's a war of attrition. So taking those minerals, even if you lose the mules, you don't really lose that much. You aren't spending the minerals anyway. dNa can't spend them.
dNa will now siege up, I think, this planetary fortress here where a lot of the SCVs are at. Hunter Seeker's trying to go off, yeah.
Nice use of the Hunter Seekers. With the Vikings hanging at the back for dNa, he's not really been able to chase away those air units, and he let the Ravens go to town, really. But that's not great control. That's not great control at all. Wow.
This is just I don't know.
It's just a slow death at this point.
Like Boomerang has all the bases he needs in the world, but the way that he's defending, I think maybe he changed his composition just a little bit. Maybe pump out more tanks like dNa did. I could be wrong, but I think that could definitely help him hold off. And these SCVs actually doesn't even look like they're repairing. No, they're not even repairing. That base will go down.
The SCV's mostly going to survive, and one of the bases did lift off and get out, but at this point, dNa, he's just trapped his opponent inside of his natural.
He's pulling everything now. He's pulling absolutely all of his men. Yeah.
Second mech force going down. I think when he sees the second army, he knows there's really no escape.
I mean, he's maxed out now.
Lovely Hunter Seekers going down.
But you know what? I keep seeing these Hellions, but they never turn into Hellbats. Is that...
They're fine.
I think that Hellbats would probably be good. Don't see why they wouldn't be. Hellions are great and all, but dNa just loses these tanks and he doesn't even care. He just 2 tanks gone. Is he mad? No, he's dNa. He's just gonna sit there scanning. The second anything moves down the ramp, just boom.
I don't know. This is his last mining base. I mean, he does have this one down here, but.
Yeah, I think this may be the last charge of the Light Brigade here.
Yeah, and the really sad thing is, even if Boomerang had killed that force, he couldn't really have done that much else with it. The bio is so depleted, and the tanks are so potent.
Yeah, coming in here, completely breaking the natural, ruining everything, and
GG.
It does finally tap out.